Well, Andrea and Bisi, I am so excited to talk with you today. You are two of our first graduates from the online program. So I'm excited to find out what your Le Fashion Lab experience has been. We're going to talk about it more like from a journey standpoint. How were you feeling before you started, during the process, and at the end? I'm very excited to talk with you guys because, like I said, you're the first from the online program, and for me, that's a big deal. All
Right.
right. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me introduce you both. So here we have Andrea. She is the owner and founder of Andrea's Society and Fabric in Loveland, Colorado. She
Mhm.
is passionate about teaching sewing as a life skill and creating a welcoming, confidence building space for kids, teens, and adults. Through her work, she blends creativity, education, and community. And then we have our dear Bissy. She is a devoted mother and educator. Both of you have that in common. Bissy believes in bringing care and intentionality into the classroom and life. As her children move into adulthood, she's embracing her evolution as a fashion designer and fashion teacher. Bissy is shaping a life where motherhood, education, and the artistry of fashion blend seamlessly, each enriching and strengthening the other. Welcome, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about the beginning. In your own words, we're going to talk about what your life situation was like when you decided to join Le Fashion Lab. So let's first talk about, did you have any fears or frustrations before joining the program?
Well, I can
Yeah,
go first.
go ahead.
Um, well, I started out, well, I'm still a stay-at-home mom, but I'm stay-at-home mom. And and so I was sewing all the time, making skating dresses as well. And I I felt I was selling them to the local, skaters and whatnot and making dresses for them, but I still felt like I wanted to take it a step further and really learn how to make my own patterns and how to drape and really immerse myself more into the fashion industry and how it relates to figure skating styles and fashions. And, um, and so that's what started my journey in looking for curriculum like you have here at Lay Fashion Lab.
Got
And
it.
I, yeah.
Okay. How about you, Bissy? Did you have any fears or frustrations?
Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna like for me at the time when I started, I think it was more of frustration because I had looked for a program that would take care of, my needs as a I'm not even sure, as a potential sewist. I mean seamstress, let me use the word seamstress rather than I didn't even have a picture of what a fashion designer, I didn't have the total picture. I wanted to sew and I had tried to, but the frustration was finding a program that I wasn't just making a pillowcase and okay, the next time I was making an apron and okay, that's it. While that taught me how to make, straight lines, I didn't really learn, skills that are enduring, like I ended up learning, in the course of my. So I think my frustration was just getting, finding something to meet my needs beyond just sewing, straight lines, skills that I could build on and I'll be able to use later when I found my footing as a fashion designer.
Got it. Okay. And Andrea, you mentioned that you were sewing skating dresses before. So did you have a frustration that made you feel like you needed to go beyond what you were already doing?
Yes, because I was more self-taught and, I just wanted to know if what I was doing was the most correct way. I knew there had to be more and I wanted to feel more confident in my skills and so I could really say to these customers that I really did know what I was doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And piggybacking on that, did you guys have what were your dreams and desires?
Okay, I'm gonna start my dreams and my desires. Um, I I grew up as I don't know, for those who know a little bit of, I'm a Nigerian by birth. For those of us that know, we're very, very forefront in the fashion industry. Fashion is a way of life. I don't remember, casual is different. My perception of casual is different from, the average person's perception, because casual means you dress up, maybe, you just step it down a notch. So, I mean, it's always been important to dress well and to wear quality clothes, and that was important. So my dream, my desire, my aspiration when I started learning, to sew, was to create pieces that showed quality and also individuality. So it was marrying that, not everything there were nice clothes in the store, but didn't speak to the individuality. And then while I could dream of the individuality, I did not know how to execute it to show the quality. So I needed somewhere where quality and individuality would meet beyond my just, making pillows and aprons.
Got it. Got it. All right. How about you, Andrea?
Yeah, yeah, my dreams were like I said, I've always been immersed in the ice skating world. I grew up an ice skater, and both of my girls are ice skaters. And so I grew up immersed in the being able to help the gal who was designing my dresses, design them, help sew on all the little sequences, and just, I was a part of all of that world of having to do lots of fittings and all of that. And so that really just shaped my, goals and dreams as a little girl. And then and so I always was trying to sew something up. My mom wasn't really a sewer, but she knew the basics. And so she had a sewing machine and she could hem things and make my Halloween costumes. And so I don't know, I was always jumping on there as well. And then as an adult, when my girls started figure skating, I thought, my gosh, I really want to try making these skating dresses. And to me, it was like they're on the line of wedding dresses and prom dresses and that type of beauty. And so I just kept working hard at it, and then I ended up mentoring under the gal who made all of our skating dresses for a couple of years. But I still just felt like I needed more, and really wanted to uh, just get that confidence in knowing, like I said earlier, in what I was doing and how to make my own patterns and how to really stand out and be different and then just the regular McCall's patterns and what have you and really start to also get into sewing clothes as well. I had always just done skating dresses and a few clothes here and there, but I didn't, actual garments are a lot different than figure skating dresses. And so I really wanted to learn all that as well. And so that's when I started looking into this type of education as, a mom, an older mom in my early 40s, and seeing what that would look like for me going back to school. And but yet I didn't want to have to do all of those core classes and worry about, sciences and math and all of that. I just wanted to delve right into the sewing.
Understood, understood. So both
Yeah.
of you partially answered my next question already. It sounds like both of you had some sewing background before starting the Fashion Lab, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, maybe yes, but mine was very, very, very limited. It was very, very limited. I had made one pillow, but I was also doing embroidery, but it was machine embroidery. But so my sewing experience was very, very limited.
Got it, got it. Okay. And Andrea, you had more experience, but your experience was primarily with knit stretch fabric,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really was.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that. All right. So let me ask you your opinion. With the right effort, can someone who truly has never sewn before still succeed at the Fashion Lab?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because they started us right at square one, like we had never sewn before. And so that's what was so great because we really got to hone in even the smallest or the tiniest details from the very beginning. And how do you feel, BC,
I
with that?
totally agree because I mean, again, I mean, while I don't want to say I came in with no sewing experience, but I really came with next to nothing.
Hmm.
Next to nothing. I had to learn how to thread a sewing machine. I had to learn how to different kinds of seams. So yes, if you had zero experience, I mean, we started from there, and here we are. So yes.
Good, good, good. All right. So now we're transitioning into the middle of the program. So from before you started the program to the point now where you're somewhat in the middle of the program, how did you find your perspective, your knowledge, or your skills changing as you went through?
Well,
Okay,
we,
so
yeah,
go
go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead, Andrea.
No, 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 go ahead.
Okay, so at the beginning, because of the way the curriculum is designed, there was a lot going on at the same time. There was a lot of learning that was going on at the same time. See, particularly for me, I came to the point where I realized that this is not a sewing program. This is a well-rounded fashion program. So it was I think I was coming to an awareness that sewing doesn't happen in isolation if you're going to be a successful or a well-rounded fashion designer. It was not just going to be about sewing. It was going to be about knowing a whole lot more, knowing about fabrics, knowing about what fabrics go together, knowing about what kind of finishes work best with what kind of garments, knowing about the body, knowing about draping, knowing about um, what patterns. That part I was not even prepared for. So I found out that there were a whole lot more moving parts to it than just, learning how to sew.
Got it.
Yeah, it really exceeded my expectations too. I wasn't quite sure either what I was getting into and how in depth it was going to be. And gosh, it really was. It covered everything, and that was so amazing. And it really just put us into this other world of something I don't know about you, BC, but something I was just so thrilled to be a part of, and um, and just being able to do that because we did once a week on Saturdays. And at first I thought, gosh, I'm giving up my Saturdays. I don't know how that's going to look with two young kids at home and a husband and it's like our only day off and oh man, but it ended up working out so well and we really enjoyed our time I did together meeting every Saturday and we went through all the seasons, winter and spring and summer and we just kept going and it was just amazing at how in depth it ended up being and so well rounded.
Good, good. And maybe you guys already answered this, but let me ask you directly. Was there anything that was different than you expected?
Everything.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, for some reason, even though you had shared the brochure and we
Yeah, and
had
the
come to the
syllabus.
to the opening meet, I mean to the we okay, yeah, there was a curriculum, but for some reason at the back of my mind it was going to be sewing. And yes, we sewed, but let me start with I think our first course was fashion illustration, and I was not prepared for that. It was totally different. It was not my strongest, area because I mean, my creativity just did not go into sketching, but it was something that I needed. Now I know how to do it differently. I know how to do it not just, by hand. So yeah, everything was a little. Yeah, even sewing, for some reason, I guess I was not prepared to learn all kinds of seams. I was not prepared to learn all kinds of stitches. I can make a perfectly good buttonhole by hand. Maybe I wasn't expecting that as well because I knew the little machines can do all that. So yes, a lot of things that we learned was a little beyond um the expectation. I mean, I have seen sewing apprenticeships and maybe that was my perception, but it was totally not. It exceeded my expectation.
Good.
Yeah, me too. It just was, it was more fashion based than I thought it was going to be, which was so amazing for me. I absolutely learned or loved learning all that, and just we just felt like real fashion students, you know. And it was like the real deal, you know.
We joked about that a lot.
And and so we just learned, I feel like we learned how to do everything. And it made me just, I feel so confident now. And I look back on those, 2 years prior when we started, my gosh, it's like I knew nothing compared to what I know now. And the sky's the limit. I mean, we can go in so many different directions now with it and feel confident.
Good, guys. Good.
So, yeah.
Did you face any frustrations or challenges along the way?
Oh, I did. I guess I didn't really realize, how much we were really going to have to practice. And so that took me a while to really get into that groove because, life is so busy and we have our families and we kind of had a come to Jesus moment that if we're going to learn what we're learning, we need to practice what we're learning. But we really did start to get into that groove and figure that out. That was what was hard for me, I think, at first.
Yeah, I can get it.
Okay, for me, there was a lot of excitement when I started, so I was getting a lot of practice in. I was, no, I very pretty. I jumped behind my industrial sewing machine and I was having fun until somewhere in the program, I think I had to go out of the country. And so I could not keep up
Right.
with
Yeah.
the practice. And even though I had a lot of support, it threw me off for a minute because apart from the fact that I did enjoy the practice, but it also helped me to keep up with the skill and honestly with the rigor of the program. I mean, it's not an easy course. It's a challenging course. It's an advanced level course. It's not a high school, skills program. It's equivalent to what a college degree. So at a point that got a little I got a little overwhelmed, to the point where I almost literally got myself physically sick from the anxiety, of not being able to keep up. But yes, it was a challenging program that got me a little frustrated, a little anxious, but I was able to, with support and all that from my instructors and all that, get back to where I needed to. And a couple of times personal issues, came up, but having a great support system, being able to reach out to my instructors, being able to, have a conversation with you and Andrea and I were not just classmates, we became very, very good friends. She's great at taking notes. I'm a more of a flyer by the seat of your pants kind of person. And just going through things together. And so yeah, we did have, moments where it was kind of tough. Like, oh my God, what did I sign up for? But it was fun and it was and it was great. And so I remember one time I think I was transferring my pattern and I forgot to transfer I think the darts for my shoulder. Anyway, I made it up along the way. And I think it was Miss Marva's class, and Marva was like, "Okay, go ahead and measure," and whatever numbers I came up. Marva was like, "What? Okay, Bisi, I can't help you."
We
that was
still joke about that to this day.
yeah, that was
That was
because I
it.
really just,
Marva was like,
I just made up, and I
yeah.
realized that okay, Mama was like, "What?" I mean, the way she was like, Bisi, I cannot help you. Eventually she came back.
She's she helped
But
you.
it
Yeah.
was it was just it was wonderful. And I also, I mean, we built those relationships, and I found out that sewing and fashion is a social activity. You need people on your side. You need people to share ideas with. You need people to work with. You need people to cheer you on. And you need people to tell you that, okay, I don't know what you're doing, but you're on your own.
Oh, Lord, that's hilarious. And you guys haven't met in person yet, have you?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
We
Oh
keep
my
Not
saying
yet.
soon, soon,
Yes,
one of these days.
maybe we'll have a fashion show and then you guys, Andrea, maybe you'll finally be able to come down.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The next question. What was a great benefit you hadn't expected? No, no, no. That's not the question I want to ask you. This is a question. Did you face any triumphs or victories? Either within the program or yeah, in the middle. Were there any triumphs or anything that you felt really excited about?
Yes, the first dress I made for somebody that was not the dress form, because the poor dress form had no choice. I mean, that was the one I stuck a pin into. I named her Emily. I stick a pin into her while I'm sewing and then I made a dress for my daughter. And in the process, because for some reason on social media then corsets were in and all that, and I realized that I had literally just made a corset, nice little dress, and I proudly told everybody that, guys, I really can make a wedding dress, because everything, all the skills that I learned in putting together the princess seam and all that, and the boning I said, really. The only thing was that I forgot to, I think, put enough of a hem, so the skirt was barely there. But but otherwise, I felt very, very excited, and I made one for myself as well. But I was very, 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 very excited about, making a dress that somebody can actually put on. So that was very exciting for me.
Nice. How about you, Andrea?
Yeah, I'd say right about that same time too, I got commissioned to make a real prom dress for somebody. And so that's when we were in the middle of the draping program. And so normally I would have just taken a pattern and done it. But I talked to the mom and I was like, listen, I'm going through this program and we're learning how to drape. Do you care if I actually just drape this for your daughter? And it's going to take me a little longer than it normally would, but this would be wonderful practice for me. And she said, oh, absolutely, that's so exciting. And so I ended up being able to drape a prom dress for a girl during that whole process, and that was pretty amazing, you know.
Nice. Yeah. Really
So
good. Good.
yeah.
How much time did you guys spend practicing per week on average?
Well, we had to finish our homework first of all. Yeah, so I was lucky if I got that done, but then we really had to try and do at least two of everything. And so I feel like we were always sewing. I don't know if I could put it into numbers, but yeah, we had to be doing it almost every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that I think there was something about we had to put in about 10 hours a week. And when I kind of put my mind to it, yes, we were doing, I mean, on the times when we didn't, hit the 10, we were very, very close. Because trying to come and repeat everything that we did. I mean, even when class ended on Saturday, sometimes we had things to finish. And like Andrea said, we had homework sometimes. And then sometimes it was just making sure that we knew what we did to be able to, to be ready for class the next week. And for classes like Miss Marva's class, while you're making one with her in class, you're making one on your own.
Yeah.
So there was always, or you're making maybe a regular jacket, but then you're making one with stripes. And so,
Yes. Yeah.
a step up from the skill that you're working on. So yes, for us, we were looking at about 10 hours, because I found myself, just working every after, I mean, every day I try to do at least a little bit. And now, even now that I'm no longer in school, I see this thing on social media where they are challenging you to do like 30 minutes every day. And I realized that, okay, 30 minutes a day I mean, it's not even a challenge for me because as a student, I was putting in way more than that in class. I mean, for class, I should say.
Yes, yes. Okay. All right. And in general, what were some of your favorite classes?
Well, mine was I loved the illustration and the drawing and learn how to do that. And then what was the other one where you learn how to do all the pretty little yo-yos and
Like fabric
Oh,
all
fabric
manipulation?
manipulation.
that was
Yeah,
probably my favorite. But
yeah,
really, I loved all of them. I I don't know. What about you,
that's it.
BC?
So, my most challenging, which was not the question, was fashion illustration. But my favorite, I think, was fabric manipulation.
Oh,
Right? Yeah.
I so when I see all these dresses with all these big bows and all this, I'm like, oh my God, how did they do that? So fabric manipulation demystified that for me. So and
Yeah.
it was so I really enjoyed that. I loved draping. I really, really enjoyed draping. I didn't enjoy putting back in patterns and all that, but I enjoyed draping. Draping was, a very, very, very good class. I loved every class I took with Miss Marva. I don't know if I just enjoyed the social aspect of, everything. I loved talking to her. I loved, it was, again, sewing was just so social. And we were not a quiet group, according to Miss Marva, because we couldn't stop talking. So, but I enjoyed, I mean, I loved working with Ruchika, but I just struggled with illustration. I
yeah,
love
yeah.
so I love her as but I enjoyed every class. Oh, I loved introduction to fabrics.
Mm.
Oh, after
Mm.
that, oh, I went to the store and I was like, okay, they're gonna have to arrest me here. And I would touch every fabric, and I was, and I became the expert in everything. I enjoyed for the first time, I mean, I think Soccer, I still saw it in the store, a couple of days ago, and it stuck, you know. And sometimes I do the whole, oh yeah, this fabric is on, and I try to act like I know a whole lot more than, but I love the it makes it easy to sew. But now that with the little, with the expansion of my knowledge and my skills, tie dye is not always is not cotton anymore. Tie dye comes in softer fabrics. Tie dye comes in crepe. It comes in all other fabrics right now. It comes in flowy fabric. So now I can have tie dye and it doesn't have to be cotton. So it's not as easy to just cut and make as it is to make more structured fabrics and all that. But I really really enjoyed fabric manipulation.
Okay, good. That's interesting. I don't know if I've heard that one, but I personally love it. I just think it's such a beautiful like technique to know, that you can have a simple structure and then you add all of these little ornate details and you make it something fabulous. I love it. I like what you said though. It demystified all the grandeur of those dresses for you. So I
Yeah.
love that. All right. So now coming closer now to the end of your journey, what have you achieved and what are you most proud of at this moment? Andrea, you want
Um,
to start? Okay.
Go ahead.
This was gonna start. That's okay.
Well, towards the end, I'm a little disappointed in myself because I really wanted to do that final our final thing where we designed all our own stuff. And then I actually ended up sort of jumping ahead and opening up a business during that time. And looking back on it, I really kind of wish I would have waited, but I'm so glad I didn't. So it's hard to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it just gave me less focus and less time on my final project. To make all of that. So that was a struggle, but but I'm so proud of what I've done. I've opened up it's actually gone in a lot different direction than I thought it was, like because I had started out with the intention of moving forward with all my skating dresses, and I'm still doing that, and I still have clients. But I've actually opened up a sewing academy studio for kids and adults, and and it's along with a fabric store. But my niche is this. It's not like on the level of your curriculum where you're teaching fashion design and everything. So it's more of like a life skill for kids and for adults. It's for adults who've never sewn before, and they come in and make their cute little projects and whatnot. So it's
Yeah.
not fashion design, but my niche is that in Northern Colorado, we don't really have a fabric store that has garment fabrics. We have a lot of quilting stores with a lot of quilting fabrics, but you have to travel at least an hour plus south to go to, there's like one fabric store,
Mm-hmm.
that has garment. And so I get a lot of ladies in here are so appreciative that I'm carrying garment fabric. And so that's really what I'm trying to build out. I have a little bit of quilting, and we have fun quilting projects and fun bags we make and whatnot. But um, I'm trying to do classes where they follow patterns and how to make garments. And so that's been really fun because we had to learn about all the different types of fabric, like BC was talking about earlier in that class. And so this has really sort of put it into like hands-on now, really, what types of fabric I want to order for my store. And that's been really fun, getting all those different types in. And so my world has changed, not just doing all the skating knit fabrics. So now I'm really immersing myself into the garment fabrics, and that's been really fun. Um, and also just building a community here of local sewists has been really neat. I've been open for almost a year and a half next month, and gosh, I've gotten to know so many people in my small community, and it's been very rewarding so far. And I still plan on moving forward with my skating, but I don't know. I'm just letting it evolve, and we'll see where it takes me, over time. But it's been really exciting because had I done this before Lay Fashion Lab, gosh, I don't think I would nearly have the confidence. I feel like an expert in my field. I can teach these classes with confidence, and just like I said, I feel like an expert now. And on the side, I plan, I keep working and working with my pattern making and making small designs myself. And I'm just going to keep doing that and keep doing that. And, maybe that'll turn into something later on. But that is still there. Now I have my own little studio and all of that. So it just keeps evolving, and it's been really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, we've been proud of you on this end. When you send us updates about how well your business has been doing, I understand that it made it hard for you to finish up your collection, but
I
we've been
know, darn it.
we've been so proud and excited.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah, we're excited. How about you, Bissy?
Okay, so my proudest moment, was that fashion show. And Miss Mavra, I love her dearly. I really love her. And you know, when Miss Mavra tells you you've done well, that means you have done well.
Right.
And I was very proud of myself when Mavra said to somebody that, hey, all that is all BC. Because in class I worked on a couple of garments, and then when we found out that I needed to have five for the show and all that, thank God it was spring break. So I sat there, and I think the last couple were not even in my was not even part of the collection. I just needed, and there was one I struggled with. I ended up making a cape and all that. And when I went to I think I came to the fashion lab a couple of times, And I really saw that, Marva is so nurturing and she was really like, trying to, because that was first time, somebody was putting their hands on my garment and trying to help me do the things that I've always had to do on my own. And I really, much as I appreciated that, I had also learned to do things. And I think Marva did acknowledge that, okay, those of us that are online, that we had to work harder because there was nobody to literally take the fabric from you and flip it over. And so we had to like, keep figuring it out to a large extent. So the confidence that I had to find to make those, garments without, Marva, online saying, "Hey, BC, flip it over. Hey, BC, no, and because even though if you call her, she would make an appointment, she would show up for you, and she would help you. But I just felt, hey, these are things that I should be able to, and I was able to. Um, for the last one of my outfits, there was a big, I don't know, my sewing machine literally messed up my buttonholes. And I just got my little button maker and I made these gigantic buttons and I put the press buttons under that and it was a whole new style. So I was so proud of, having the skills to be able to make things, happen, to make things look good. She taught me how to make a sleeve. I was able to translate that to, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was
that's
able
okay.
to translate that into the same skill into the pants. And I was just so, proud of myself. And I think I still have my videos on social media and all that. Because again, coming from only being able to make pillowcases when I started, I am very, very proud of how far, I have come. I did look at my options, including wanting to do a fashion, little what's called ready to wear line. But I realized that particularly, with the new, with tariffs and everything happening, importing was not very was what it had it required a whole lot more planning. And when I went to Nigeria, I looked at, okay, maybe having, some of my production from there. But I realized that um, the knowledge and the skills that I have made it difficult for me to settle for mediocrity.
Mm.
I could not do garments that did not have a certain type of finish. I could not do garments that did not have a certain kind of fit. I remember having a conversation with the few tailors that I was going to, make them, they didn't even know what a tech pack was. So I was like, okay, am I doing too much high tech for you? And then by the time we had this conversation and they're like, okay, what is, and we'll help you make it small. I'm like, what do you mean by small? Will it be this waist and that waist? My older sister is like a size 6. I'm a true 14, 16. And one of the seamstresses said, oh yeah, we'll make it to fit her and to fit you. I'm like, one garment should not fit a size 4 and a size 16. I think something might be wrong with that garment. So I realized that that was not what I was going to, do. But in addition to my other skills, I still have my little small client days where I offer this mommy and me set. It's a nice little skirt that has a little embroidery design on the shirt, and mom gets a matching shirt. But the little girl gets, a skirt. And I had people ask for layered skirts or simple layers or single layers. But it really makes me feel, good because the quality of the skirt, I mean, for everyone that has ordered and they've, when they come back, they're like, oh my God, did you really make that? I'm like, yeah, in my little dining room studio, so I'm extremely proud of, the things that, and my dad, he's a very kind of hard to please person. He's a very fashion forward. And when my dad says, oh, how is your, fashion? Do you still get time to? I'm like, yeah, I'm still doing it, not on the skill that I want to. And the last thing was, one of my goals was, I mean, finding that fashion is a social social activity. So I'm still working on creating a space where I can have a couple of women come in, work together, create something. Well, hopefully garments, not just pillows, but it's a social community where you don't have to give up one thing to be able to do, another thing. So I'm still working on that. I'm still working on kids, but I don't know. I'm gradually leaning away from kids because of the social aspect of it. Yeah, I think it's a great skill to teach kids. I know Andrea and I talked about that. We always joke that if we're in the same town, we probably will be partners in business.
Yeah, that would have been, yeah, I think about
Yeah,
that sometimes too. Like Andrea, had you been here, we would have been able to supply you with some, some talent, some
Right.
assistance. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
so we talked about that because when it comes to the kids and all that, um, but we started as I think we had a joke and we're like, oh yeah, we should do it over a spring break, and that's how we kind of like started rolling with the idea of teaching kids and all that. So we're still, I'm still very very proud of knowing what I'm doing. I'm still proud of my the skills that I have. Um, 90% of the time when I go to work and I wear something, somebody goes, did you make that? And sometimes in
Hmm.
my head, I'm like, I wish. But I also like the fact when for some reason, I enjoy jackets. And the other day I said to myself, oh, I need a jacket in this color. And I know because
Right.
I started work, I whipped out my pattern and I know I'm working. I mean, something that I'm probably going to work on in the next couple of days. But I like knowing that when I see something, I'm like, oh, I can make that. I can totally make that. And that's becoming the story of my life now.
Yeah.
wonderful. So nice. I didn't even realize you had a mommy and me business going on.
Yeah,
That's nice.
it's a little mommy and me collection.
That's
Yeah.
so sweet. That is sweet. This is a very simple question. You guys have already answered it, but I'm just going to ask it for the sake of just being really clear. Are you happy with the skills you've gained at the Fashion Lab?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
It was worth
Yes.
it. Yeah, it
Good,
was worth
good,
every penny. Yeah.
good, good, good.
I'm very glad. Yeah,
And
go
I'm
on, Andrea.
proud of it. And I'm proud of saying that, I have my degree with the Lay Fashion Lab, you
Yeah.
know.
And we're proud of you guys. In terms of ideal online students, that was you guys. That was really good to see the camaraderie that you built, but the sense of maturity that you also brought to the program and the sense of passion. You really were, passionate about getting your stuff done. You were easy to work with. Absolutely the best online students anybody could ask for.
Thank you. And Miss Mama was like, oh my God, who were the ones that just couldn't stop talking? She always said that we always had something to say.
Yeah.
No, the ones that can't stop talking are the fun ones.
That's what she would say too. She's, oh, I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
yeah. All right, so we're gonna wrap up now. So, is there anything that you wish you had known before you joined Le Fashion Lab?
Hmm. Just how great it was going to be, because I wasn't sure, should I be doing something, nearby or local in person? And, um, whenever I tried to look at that route, it just didn't seem like the people cared, or it just it just didn't seem to work out with what I was looking for. And and so this really, I mean, I was taking a chance, a leap of faith, hopefully this will work out. Hopefully, with it being, online sewing at a distance, you know. Um, but oh my gosh, yeah, it really um, exceeded my expectations, like I said.
Good.
I I am not disappointed.
Hmm.
Um, even though I'm local, but of course, I wasn't local enough to do that drive, every middle of the week, which is why I ended up in this. And when I started, I actually thought that, oh, maybe after one semester, maybe I'll be able to drive downtown and, continue as an in-person student. But that thought never crossed my mind by the time I was, at the end of my first semester. The only thing I can say is that I wish there were more programs like this because there are people that need this. I cannot, I cannot share my experience enough. I wish that, everyone that, desired to learn to be a fashion designer, not just a seamstress. Even those who wanted to, just be seamstresses too. I wish they knew that there was a whole lot more to, cutting up a garment and, putting stitches down the side of it, and that's it. So I wish that, people had, the opportunity that we got. I wish that it was more accessible to them. I wish they had the kind of support. I wish they knew what it was, to to build a whole brand, because I mean, down to pricing my garment, I know how to. And
Right.
I
Yeah.
and I yeah, and I tell people I'm not, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have to be everybody's seamstress, because I'm not, I didn't learn off of YouTube. And
You're a
I mean,
designer.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh
So I think,
yeah,
yeah.
I am a designer, and I'm a designer worth my salt. So, and I earned and I learned, my skills. And so that part of it, I wish that more people really, put a little more value. Yes, the fast fashion is out there, but it is nothing compared to, what the value that we bring, to the table. And that's where sometimes the idea of teaching comes into play for me, because this is a great skill. I don't want it to end. I told my kids, whether they want to or not, they have to learn the basics of sewing. They're gonna come to a little social club one of these days. They are
Mhm.
going to learn, because I think it's just, apart from everything else, it's just such a great skill, such a beautiful skill. The best part is just seeing what you have created, just come to, every time I get a picture from a family that says, "Oh yeah, our daughters," I mean, I made my skirt for like twins, and they're like, "Oh, our daughters went to church for their birthday," and somebody sends me their daughter's birthday in school, and it's a mom and me. It's so fulfilling for me. It's so fulfilling for me. But I just wish that more people knew. I wish more people knew about it. I wish more people had the opportunity. And honestly, I wish more people knew the value, because I know that some people might feel, oh, I can't afford this, but it is worth every single penny that went into it.
Yeah, I think my expectation was is we were going to be more just stronger seamstresses. Yeah, I think that's really what my expectation was. And then I very surprised that it really was a whole fashion degree. I mean, we really feel like fashion designers now. I mean, how many times did I say, VC, during the 2 years that this is like being on Project Runway? It was
Yes.
absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. Just like that. And it gave the same feels, it gave all the feels of that. And that I think was the most surprising for me. And just yeah, it was pretty great. And thank you, Nicola,
Oh, you're so
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank
for
you for
creating a
for
program like
having this
this.
kind of program.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so
Thank
welcome.
you.
I'm here, and my intention is to be more on the listening side, right? So I ask the questions and I allow you to answer. But as you answer, even if you don't see a very clear emotion or reaction on my face, I'm filled with a lot of joy right now. I'm
Well,
filled
and
with joy.
one more thing I really want to touch on is the quality of instructors you have as well. I don't think there was one instructor I was disappointed with. I mean, every single one brought so much strength to the program and knowledge. And oh, yeah, that was pretty unexpected as well. So,
So good,
You have
guys.
you, you
yeah,
have a you have a great team. I mean, if you call Lauren in the office, you don't miss. I mean, she's very quick to get back, to you. And then all of the instructors were fabulous.
their
Um,
knowledge is through the
yes.
roof
Oh,
and just
listen. I, I
immeasurable.
mean, I don't know if I'll ever be able to sew as perfectly as Elizabeth,
Yeah.
and
And
honestly, you
Elizabeth,
just,
Elizabeth is
Oh,
she's homegrown, She's a Le Passion
yeah.
Lab graduate.
oh my
I
God,
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And
she's
she
so
was so
patient.
great because she was so patient and she's perfect for the beginning classes.
Mhm.
And I just love how we were able to really just we felt close to the instructors. We felt like we could go to them for anything. And they just we were all real people and that was what was really awesome too. And I still the wealth of their knowledge is just in every category from the drawing from Rushika to Marva, the pattern
Mhm.
and the sewing and Elizabeth and I remember I think it was
Reader.
Veronica.
You had
What?
Veronica, we had
At the
Reader.
very beginning with that
Mhm.
very first class, oh my gosh, just blown away by the quality of instructors you have at Lay Fashion
Quality
Lab.
of the curriculum. It was really, really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm so excited. So happy to, so happy to hear that. You'd never be able to see what my heart feels like right now. But now the last question for you. Who would you say is the ideal Le Fashion Lab candidate? What traits or characteristics should that person have?
It has to be somebody that desires to succeed. It has to be somebody that is resilient. It has to be somebody that is focused. And it has to be somebody, it has to be a go-getter because again, this is not, it is not a walk in the park. This is not so along YouTube.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
okay, I'm committed to this. And this person has to be prepared to be blown away. Let me just say that.
And their
Because
life to change
oh yeah, because it's not
on a
you're not
professional
linear.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna learn a whole lot more than and the person has to be prepared to, I guess, um, move with the times, change with the expectation because um pattern making again was I don't know, I guess I wasn't prepared for it, but I do not regret it 1 second. Again, I just wanted to sew, but
Mhm.
I can do a whole lot more than sew.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Really.
And I remember the first couple of sewing classes coming back home to practice the French seam, coming back home to practice the bias around the neck, coming back home to install the zipper.
Hmm.
You have to be prepared to work. You have to do your part. They can teach you everything, and instructors are gonna go home, you're gonna go home. But if you do not work on those skills, and I also remember after the program, Marva checking and saying, BC, what are you making? And I was like, I was making a dress. That dress did not fit, by the way, but I had to redo it. But just check it. And for the next couple of months, I always made sure I was doing something just in case she called to check. She has not called for a minute. I'm like, I'm gonna call her and say, Martha, are
Guess
you
what I'm
leaving
working
me alone? But it was just I didn't want her to call me, and I didn't want to say I'm not working on something.
on.
But
Hmm.
you know, you have to be prepared to work. You have to be prepared to work. I don't think the fashion industry is for those who don't want to work. I grew up with tailors that always disappointed you, but those are not the ones that will be successful fashion designers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Andrea, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this program really gives you the opportunity um, to find a job or a career in any little space there is in this industry. I mean, there's so many different routes you could go, and I feel like that this program really prepared us for all those different routes. And we also made wonderful portfolios for ourselves, and I mean, I really feel confident that I could go to New York if I would, well, I say if I was young, you know, I could, really pursue stuff like that if I really wanted to. And it's really neat because I didn't realize there were so many different avenues in this industry. And Lay Fashion Lab really prepared us for all of those different routes that you could go. So that's really neat because I know we could look up different job listings, and you guys send over job listings, within Atlanta and in other states. And it's really neat to be able to look at all of those job listings and be like, gosh, I really could apply for
Mhm.
this. I could apply for that. I could do this. I could do that. I mean, it kind of feels like it just opened up this whole other world that I didn't expect or realize was out there for me in
True.
little old Loveland, Colorado, so.
And then the last thing you need somebody, the person that the ideal student has to be teachable. There's so much to learn.
Mm.
So, you have to be teachable. I mean, let me just put it like that. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
I was
be willing to
studying.
learn. Yeah.
You have to be willing to learn. You have to be able to,
Yeah.
because there were things we had to unlearn. I mean, there were things
Mhm.
we had to unlearn. I mean, particularly me for Andrea that really had some experience. There were some things we had to unlearn, and there
Yeah,
were some
absolutely.
things we had to learn. I hated, I mean, I hate ironing in my real world. In my permanent world, I hate ironing, but
Now I
now
love ironing.
yeah, oh yeah.
I iron
Mhm.
everything.
Yes, because again,
Every
I
little
I had
thing.
I had
Yeah.
to be willing to learn that. I remember Nicola telling me something about finishing. And I can't remember what project that I had sent you a picture of, and you had mentioned something about, that it had to be neat. It had to have that, appeal. And I guess, we're our own worst critics now that we know what we're looking for. So you have to be open to learn, you have to be teachable, without getting, offended, because
Yeah,
again, I
you
might be
can't
the
get
expert
offended.
in something, but I'm not the expert in, some other things. And so we have to be willing to learn. You have to be able to take, correction. You have to be able to love that sim ripper.
Because they expect quality finishes, our instructors
Oh yeah.
do.
Oh yeah.
And so we can't just throw something together and expect to do well and not to get that criticism, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have come to the end of our interview, and I can never stop saying just how much of a pleasure it has been working with you. You were exceptional in the program, and your results have been exceptional. And the thing that I always know about fashion design is that it can continue to evolve way after this. Just like you said, Andrea, your business, you're gonna just allow it to organically evolve, and Bisi, you're saying basically the same thing. So even though you've already accomplished so much, I look forward to seeing what you will continue to accomplish even years after now. Fashion design is the gift that keeps giving, and who knows where it's going to go. But you just had the best personality, the best work ethic to work with. And it's been an absolute pleasure for our paths to have crossed at the Fashion Lab. And I hope that you will continue to keep in touch with us and let us know how things are going. Okay.
We
Absolutely.
certainly will.
Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You're
Thank you for your
welcome. You're
program.
welcome.
All right.